The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Good afternoon and aloha. It's Wednesday again, and it's time for Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they are helping to make Maui number one. We're sponsored by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. If you're looking to build or remodel, give them a call, or better yet, stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard and tell them Maui Notes, Maui Nonprofit Notes sent you. Anyway, we're kind of throwing that in because I just got the word that they've renewed our contract for another year. So I want to give a shout out to Paul and everybody over there for that. That's going to be the fourth year. Paul, you are tremendous, and hopefully this public service that's happening as a result of this show is really getting the word out to people what our different agencies do. And I guess the thing that astounds me is that over the year now that I've been hosting the show, I've learned so much about the different agencies, and I thought I knew our member agencies, but each agency has their primary service that they're known for. And then they have these other services that they provide to assist other agencies so that the whole picture comes into focus. And it's everybody working together to make our community the way it is. My name, by the way, is Susie Tiemann. I'm the Executive Director at Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Today, it's my pleasure to welcome Ginger Gannon, who is the philanthropic. See, the first time I have to read something, I mess it up. I don't know about this. Philanthropic Services Officer for Maui County for the Hawaii Community Foundation. I didn't know that was your title.
It is. Isn't it a mouthful?
I thought you just did everything needed to be done.
It's kind of other duties as assigned.
Aha, that's 90% of your job, right?
It is.
I gotcha.
It is.
So it's been a while since we've had you on the radio. And I know you've been busy working because I keep seeing you coming and going from different functions that workshops you've had and community events and so forth. Can you give us an overview for those who may be new listeners to us this week, what the Hawaii Community Foundation is and what it's doing?
Happy to. First of all, I'd like to also extend my thanks to Paul and company. This is a fabulous program and a great opportunity for the community as well as the nonprofits. The Hawaii Community Foundation is a statewide charitable organization, and that's kind of a mouthful, but the statewide piece is really important. There are a lot of community foundations on the mainland that serve a small town or city, whereas we serve the entire state. So that we're pretty special there. We're one of the oldest within the United States, and we do all sorts of different things, as Susie said, not just within the office, but within the foundation. We're probably best known for our grant making, which, we work closely with our nonprofit organizations to help them with various funding resources. We have a fabulous scholarship program. We have over 170 different scholarship funds available to post-secondary students as well as those that are thinking about making a career change. We work closely with our professional advisors, and we help them with various estate planning options for their clients. So we do just a little of everything.
That's terrific. Now, the scholarships, that's kind of an intriguing program to me when you talk about it being not just for secondary education, but also for potential career change. If I decided I didn't want to, is it related to nonprofit? Let's put it that way.
They aren't. The scholarships, the majority of our scholarships, for instance, within Maui County, we have about 22 individual scholarship funds that focus on whether it's a specific school, a specific major, a specific ethnicity. So it runs the gamut. But that is the majority of our scholarships. So it's for those seniors and their families that are planning to scoot them on off to school. We also have a number of what used to be called vocational educational scholarships. And so those are for the folks that, have had to make a career change, are thinking of making a career change, for those students that are graduating from high school that really need to get out there, learn what they need to learn, and be able to hit the working force really, really quickly.
I see. That's interesting. Now, has that become a bigger part of what you do recently or over the last few years?
Over the last few years, I'd say it's grown. Especially with the downturn in the economy, there were more and more folks that were out there looking for work, and it all depends on the donors, on the clients, and how far down the line they look. So our scholarships are really driven by the client's criteria. So there are more and more donors, I think, that are aware of how necessary these types of scholarships are. The other thing that we've noticed is a real interest in scholarships being provided for those new, first time to college. Within a family. There's a real interest in that by a lot of our clients. So, there are families that no one else has been able to go to school, so this is kind of a way to encourage them.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Mm-hmm. Now, you're kind of a collection of funds, if you will, or clients who have funds to give to various opportunities, whether it's to organizations or individuals through the scholarships, et cetera. If I've got some money and I have an idea for some way that I think maybe I could help a nonprofit, what would I do to get those funds out in the community?
That's a really great question. There are several things that you can do. For instance, if you have a love of animals, you could come to us. We have folks that come to us and say, I really, really care an awful lot about making sure that our animal population is really well taken care of. And we'll talk with you a little bit and see how you feel, what your thoughts are for that particular fund or being able to give back. And if anything, we'd more than likely direct you to, an organization that dealt directly with animals. What we do sometimes, or I think what we bring, is we bring the opportunity for folks to create funds that are going to be here in perpetuity. We don't invest to make our funds grow in a really, really fast way. We make sure that the donor is comfortable knowing that in 100 years from now, that fund will still be around and their name, and they'll be making a difference. They'll continue to make a difference. However, it may be easier for you to work directly with the Humane Society or another similar organization. The other thing that we do is we do a great job on the due diligence as far as making sure that the grants that are awarded from that fund or the scholarships are truly being used in the way that the client or donor intended. So we've got a lot of different tools that we use to make sure that everything is up to date and just where it should be.
And I'm sure that's a big help, because the average person, while you may have accumulated some funds, you don't have those pieces readily available to you. And so you could go out and give it to the wrong person the first year, and that just kind of shoots the program, because now your history is bad right away in the second year.
Yeah, it gets to be tricky, and it's not just, as I say, about the foundation. I mean, we are a resource for the community. So if there was someone out there that was looking to give back and they had a question on an organization or just wanted several organizations, because we've had those calls, I want to make a gift at the end of the year, and who might I do that to? This is an area that I'm interested in. We're happy to work with them and to make some suggestions for them.
And when they come in, like you say, if they have something in mind, who out there is doing that, and so your suggestions would be that list of folks that you're aware of, and then it could still become an RFP process, request for proposal process, where you would put it out there, and maybe those organizations would put in a request, and maybe they wouldn't. Maybe somebody new crops up. But you also have a way of checking those out.
We do, absolutely. Yeah, our process is pretty detailed, and yet it's simple.
I like that, detailed but simple.
You know,
Okay.
we've been doing this for close to 100 years, so we really have a good idea of what to look for, and make sure that every, our goal is to make sure that our community is as strong and as best as it can be.
Now, what would be the threshold for someone coming in with money to create something new like this? I mean, you obviously can't do it with $500.
No, but you could certainly make a gift to various funds. For instance, we have a community scholarship fund that allows folks within the community to make a gift to that fund.
I see.
And those scholarships are directed statewide. Our fund limits vary. I think one that is becoming really popular is, and it's probably got the lowest minimum, and it's a donor-advised fund. We kind of consider it a charitable checkbook. The minimum is $10,000, and it allows the donor to make gifts directly from that fund to a 501c3 nonprofit. So, yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, not at all.
You always think of donations of those kinds or setting up funds as being either multi-millions or certainly multi-thousands. Is that a word?
I think so.
Okay, we'll use it today anyway. There has to be a lot of money behind it. And what you're saying is you have the tools whereby you can take some of these smaller gifts and turn them into something that's really valuable and worthwhile.
Yes.
Terrific.
Excuse me.
Yeah, terrific. Now I know you've got some things that like those who are newly organized agencies can come in and apply for funds to help them get even their 501c3. Isn't there something that you have that helps them get organized or beyond that point?
Not necessarily with creating their 501c3. We can direct them. We have some community resources that may be helpful for them. But I think you're thinking more along the lines of our strategic planning opportunities, our organizational capacity building initiative. The foundation truly believes that in order for organizations, our nonprofit community, to be stronger, we need to make sure and give them the tools so that they can be sustainable over years. So for a number of years, we've had several different areas that focus on that. We've had our organizational capacity building grants. We have the PONO, which works with our nonprofit executive directors. And we have more recently had the HELP program, which focuses on not necessarily the ED, but the person right below them that pretty much does just as much as the executive director, working to give them those tools. It's been really well received.
Great. Now, in that program, do they both come, the ED and the second in command, or is it to more or less give the educational or the experience to the second in command to be able to eventually step up? Is that the intent?
Yes, it is. It's mainly for the person that they're focusing on, whether it be the executive director or the second in command. What's usually required, though, is that the president of the board attends at least the first and the last meeting so that they know exactly what their ED is learning.
I see.
Right.
Well, that's great, because a lot of times there's a disconnect there.
There can be.
Yeah, there sounds like a great idea, and the board gets all excited. Our ED is going to go to this class and going to come back with all this knowledge, and then a couple years later, it's like, well, didn't you go to that class?
Exactly, yes. And what we're seeing, too, and as, nonprofit folks, there's been more questions around why isn't there more support for operations or core support? And that's something that we're always struggling with, but I think the foundation has been pretty flexible in the past, and there may be some exciting things coming up in 2013.
You heard it here first.
That's all I'll say.
Some exciting things coming up in 2013.
Always.
We've got some exciting things coming up right now. Here's a commercial.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with the nonprofit directors and their staff to find out what they are doing and how they're doing it to help the Maui community. Talking with Ginger Gannon of Hawaii Community Foundation, I love talking about all the options you have. I think the very first time I heard the president of your organization speak, he did a PowerPoint presentation and had this graph up there that showed, that showed all the different funds and all the different money that flows through those funds and going to the different nonprofits. And I think that was probably before scholarships was a major piece. And I'm sitting there just in awe that an organization can put this together and really be the agent for all of these different entities who have funds to put it into the community and want to work with someone that they can trust, number one, to see that they're put to good use. I mean, anybody can write a check. That's not the answer. You want sustainability. Hawaii Community Foundation provides that because that's their whole program. As you said, you've been around for 100 years and hope to be around for another 100. With these funds and with the donations that come in. And as we're approaching the end of the year, I know that's a great time when people start thinking about their charitable giving. You must have something you want to say about that.
I think we'd like to just encourage everyone to think about giving back. We all give back in so many ways, and I think I've said it on other shows. Whether it's taking that turkey or that box of food down to the food bank. But our nonprofits work so hard during the year that this is really a great time to think about how you can help in any way.
In any way, that's true. That's true. And now you've got, there's also the time of year where a lot of scholarship deadlines come into play as everybody's working on what's going to happen for them in the next year. And right now, scholarships are a big issue for you.
They are. We are ramping up. And, all I can say is apply early, apply early, apply early. This year, last year, we migrated to a completely online application. So there was no paper. It was absolutely fabulous. For our office on Oahu, where there have been buckets of paper applications, there were none. So there's a lot to be said for technology. This year, our scholarship online application will open on December 10th. You can go to our website and take a look there. You can even look at it now. Parents, encourage your young people to go online now and take a look ahead of time. Encourage them to start on their personal essay now so that when the time comes, they can just kind of upload everything. Our scholarship process will close on February 22nd. And trust me when I say that last week is really busy, and there are often a lot of technical glitches. So to avoid too much frustration,
we all wait to the last week. Don't do that. Do it now. December when you start.
Yeah, we do. And I think the really neat thing about our process, if anyone out there is not familiar, is that we do have approximately 170 different scholarship funds. And this one application will put your name in for the majority of them. There are some of them that require very specific information, so you have to kind of pay attention to those. But I would say at least over 100 of them are all able to be accessed by the Common Application.
Wow.
So, and there's always a little bit left over at the end. We want to make sure that all of these wonderful funds get out there. Last year, our scholarships averaged about $2,000 per student. So please go online. I'll give you our website. It is www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org, all spelled out. And from what I understand, we are in the process of revamping our website. So if you have any technical difficulties right now, please be patient. We're going to have a brand new look up and running very soon.
Oh my goodness. Another first for the new year. Now, if they want some more information on this, they can call you at your office here?
They can call our office here, and that number is 242-6184. You can also call our scholarship department directly, which is 808-566-5570.
Terrific. Now, you said the average scholarship was around $2,000. Mm-hmm. I think I also heard in there something about there were some funds left at the end of the process, and to me that's always a sad thing. It's like there had to have been somebody out there who could have used that money. Why didn't they apply? And when I think other times there were people who said, well, we haven't given that scholarship out in the last 4 or 5 years because nobody's applied for it. And it's like, how can that be? There's always somebody begging for money. Are any of them so specific that it would only apply to 1 or 2 people? Is that how that happens, or?
It can be. It can be, or it can be just that they've not uploaded all of the information that is needed. We do try to have, our first choice, second choice, and third choice. Sometimes those just don't work out. Or a scholarship is awarded and then the student has changed schools, not let us know, or they've dropped out.
I see.
So those sort of instances.
Okay.
Yeah, but we work really hard to try and get everything out as we
Yeah.
can.
So in most cases, they've been applied for. Just something happened before the funding was completed.
Correct.
I
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Wow. No, it doesn't make me want to go back to school. No, thank you. No, thank you. Not now. Now, can some of these be used here, like at UHMC?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's a really high percentage. I don't have those numbers with me. After the season, they usually give us a breakdown of the schools that are being attended, and Maui College is definitely one of the ones that are up there. Most of the students can attend any school. It usually has to be a 4-year accredited school. Okay. With the exception of those vocational education scholarships where it's a 2-year accredited program.
Right, like the culinary arts or
Absolutely.
Those kinds of things.
Yes.
Wow. So this may be one of those opportunities that people just don't think about.
They don't, or they think they don't qualify. Whether they feel that their parents make too much money or they just don't have the grades. All we can tell you is to apply.
Right.
Don't make that decision for others. Go ahead and apply, because that's what it's there for.
It's like folks who apply for a home equity line of credit. Oh, I'll never get it because my credit score is too low. Maybe it's not.
Exactly.
Do you know what your credit score is? Do you know whether you would qualify? The only way to find out is to try it.
That's correct.
Terrific. Ginger, any last comments as we hit the half-hour mark here?
I think just encouraging everyone to, make a difference in your community in any way. We all do it every day and we don't think of it, but keep on doing that. Keep on trying to make a difference in your community.
Terrific. And you heard that from Ginger Gannon, Philanthropic Services Officer for Maui County from the Hawaii Community Foundation. And it's, I think of we've had several grants and things from you and the two different organizations I've been with, and I'll never forget the first one we got was when I got a call from your office saying, could you use X number of dollars for your loan program? And I'm sitting there going, well, of course, why? And someone wanted to give to bolster up a loan program for those who couldn't get loans from banks. And it was to be used like for an emergency loan program. And, I got to say that it was a small amount, but that was the whole point of it. What does an emergency take to not be an emergency anymore? And so we put together some criteria and we submitted it to you, and between the Community Foundation and I think probably the donor came to the conclusion it sounded like a great idea, so we got the money. And I can't tell you how many dozens of people we helped with that money, and it just kept rolling over because they were so grateful. And in many cases it was something like the rent. They were 3 months in arrears now, and if they got one more month behind, they were going to be thrown out. And so that amount of money was enough to pay 2 months rent and get them back in good stead, not great stead, but good stead. And then hopefully at the end of that 2 months, they were back on track, and everybody paid them back. That was the thing that just it really made me feel good, because they appreciated having that little bit of help. And sometimes that's all it takes, a little bit.
Just believing in others.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ginger, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate what you do, and we look forward to 2013 and some bold initiatives coming out.
Always.
Always. Very good. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to switch over and we're going to talk to Laura Larson from Keiki Kukua. How are you, Laura?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Susie, for having me.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure. This is your first time on the show, right?
This is.
When did you start with Keiki Kukua?
I've been with Keiki Kukua for about 4 months now. So I started back in July. And it's been a great experience so far, working with foster youth and the community. Okay,
so tell us a little bit about what Keiki Kukua is all about. You kind of started talking about it with foster youth. I think probably one thing, if people do know about Keiki Kukua, they know about your thrift store.
Yeah, our thrift store out in Haiku, which I'll give some information about that. In general, the goal of our organization is really to support foster youth and adoptive youth, as well as the families who take in our keiki here on Maui. And we do this through a variety of different ways, such as we have a referral hotline if anybody has questions about some of our services or just needing a referral to a community organization or agency. They can call our hotline. We also have scholarships as well. We just heard a lot about some scholarships offered to students. We too offer 2 scholarships. We have one of our former foster youth who's attending UH, and we awarded him a scholarship of $1,300 for this fall semester. And we also offer a lot of opportunity for just building a support network amongst various foster youth and foster families as well. Just connecting people through events such as our pizza party, our annual pizza party that we hold there at Baldwin Beach Park. We have pizza and lots of activities. It's a great event for youth to come out and meet other foster youth, as well as the families to get together, get to know one another, which the community then, they support each other.
Gotcha. So a foster youth, there are many paths to becoming a foster youth.
Yes.
In the community, and what we're looking at is the folks who take these youth in to their homes. In most cases, right? They come to live with them for part of the time or for a period of time,
right?
And help to settle down whatever the issues were in their original home,
right?
Sometimes they end up back at home, and sometimes they continue in your program and go on to be adults without ever going back.
Correct.
So there's lots. I can see lots of different opportunities there.
Yeah, it's a unique experience for youth to go through. Sometimes the foster placement is as short as a month, and they're taken out of the home for whatever reason. And if if it's a good situation for them to go back, the goal is to allow the youth to be able to go back with their family. But sometimes that's not how it works, which is very difficult. And it's a hard job being a foster parent, but it's such an important and needed job. There's a constant need for new foster families opening up their home. And what a great opportunity for you to serve the keiki here on our island as well. And really, we want to just continue to support these youth during this difficult time in life.
Now, in most cases, if the youth have to be taken from the home, if there's one child goes. If there's 3 or 4, they would all go, right? It's not a case of some would go and some would stay.
Right, yeah. We certainly try to keep siblings together.
Right, and then you try to find homes for them that will take them and keep them together.
Oh, yeah,
rather
absolutely.
than splitting them up and so forth. Now, what ages are we talking about with the youth like this?
It could be very young youth that we're serving. Typically, a lot of our programs are really geared toward 14 to 24. So we're even talking former foster youth as well. Some of our programs specifically serve the adult population where they may be out on their own, not currently in a foster family, yet they were foster youth at one point. So we want to support them in transitioning into adulthood. One of the programs that we offer and are currently growing as well is our foster youth employment program. It's a unique program that a foster youth can take part in. They have to be 14 to 24 years old in order to do it. I meet with a foster youth and I basically coach them and guide them on career development, such as writing your resume, interviewing skills. How do you find a job? How do you network with people? What's an informational interview to learn more about career opportunities? What do you want to be when you grow up? And it's such a fun job to be able to really help them develop and set some of these goals as well.
Is there a perception that this is kind of where I am and this is where I stay?
Yeah.
For some of them, because life has been tough.
Right. Oftentimes there's need for some motivational speaking with them, and just instilling some confidence into them that, you had a tough background. However, you're becoming an adult and you can choose to create a different life for yourself. And what's great is I was not a foster youth yet. I came from a really tough background. I was a first generation college student, and I'm able to share my story with the youth that I work with to show them how your choices can really allow you to have a brighter future than what your past has been. And so that's really the approach that I take with a lot of youth that I work with, and just help them start thinking about the future, not just tomorrow.
Right.
Which oftentimes is,
as far as they think.
Yeah. And sometimes the youth that I am working with, I am helping them find housing opportunities too, because I can't help them set educational or career goals if they don't know where they're going to sleep the next night. So I take a very holistic approach to working with my foster youth, because that's the only way to be successful.
So just kind of stepping back one step, when a child is taken away from the home and put into a foster family, does that most of the time mean change of schools, change a whole new group of friends they have to meet, or that again is another issue, I'm sure, for a lot of these kids.
Yeah, it is a very difficult transition to go through, and that's something that we try to help ease a little bit what we can do. For example, we do a luggage drive every year. And this is somebody who, you might not ever think of, well, what's the importance of a luggage drive for foster youth? But if you think of, being taken from your home, and oftentimes it's a very quick situation where you've got to gather your things to be prepared to go into a new home. And a lot of foster youth don't have any luggage. So instead of throwing things into a plastic bag, we are able to provide a nice new piece of luggage to allow them to pack their things, which just allows the transition a little bit easier. Just the little bit that we can do is what we're seeking to support our foster youth.
Interesting. So you start kind of a new image for them with that piece of luggage, that the future could be much better.
Right. Yeah. It's symbolic. Absolutely.
With this. Yeah. It's interesting. Let's take another quick break and let Paul talk about Pacific Source for a couple seconds.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And this is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our executive directors and staff to find out what our nonprofits are doing to help folks in our community. And it's kind of interesting always interesting talking to our guest. But Laura Larson is the program coordinator, foster youth mentor for Keiki Kukua. And this is kind of a whole new aspect to Keiki Kukua's program. I mean, I know they had some of these things in place, but to have somebody who's dedicated specifically to this purpose gives you the opportunity to, I would think, to work with a lot more people or a lot more youth. And we were just talking about some of the things that a lot of things we take for granted that youth understand and know. And as we went into the break, we were talking about the symbolic aspect of just being able to give them a piece of luggage when they have to leave their home, rather than throwing it in a box or a plastic bag, whatever clothes they might have, which probably in many cases are limited anyway. But it's that idea that this is a step forward in a new future you're looking at, and all things are possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it says to me.
Yeah.
And take a look at what is here to offer and tell us what there is to offer these kids as they start that new adventure.
One thing I want to make sure that Maui knows about is our thrift store, which we've spoke a little bit about. It's at the Haiku Marketplace. It's a great thrift store where the community can not only shop, but they can help support our organization as well by their donations of goods. It's there in the Haiku Marketplace. We've got great pieces, lots of good. I do a lot of shopping there as well. But it's another way that we support. All the proceeds go towards our different programs and supporting our youth. However, we are looking for people to come through and donate more items and do some shopping over there.
It's the season.
Yes, this is the season. And
some great bargains over there for the Christmas season.
Yeah, lots of antiques. They had amazing art pieces when I walked in.
Really?
I thought, wow, there's some good donations happening over here in Haiku. So it's also a place where we're able to employ some of our foster youth to facilitate this employment development that we're hoping to do with our foster youth. We understand, however, that a lot of foster youth that would come to our organization may not necessarily have the means or ability to travel out to Haiku. So a lot of the foster youth I've been working with have been in Kahului, Wailuku, and I'll meet with youth in our community to assist them with some of the employment piece of our organization as well. I've met with youth at our Starbucks here.
Your Starbucks office,
yeah.
I see. Okay.
We get creative as a nonprofit.
Yes.
And really my approach, as I talked a little bit about, is, I get to know the foster youth, get to know what their strengths are, their weaknesses. What jobs have they had? How did they like them? What didn't they like about them? And then I really emphasize the strengths that they have, because oftentimes they are just really low-spirited for obvious reasons. And so I really take a strengths-based approach to coaching some of my foster youth, and I coach them on simple things such as what's proper attire when you go to a job or an interview. Let's change your email address so maybe it's a little more appropriate for a future employer to look at as well. And just these little things. A lot of them don't know about the importance of internet searching for employment opportunities, such as Indeed.com, or creating a LinkedIn account. What does that mean? And so I'll do a lot of the technology training with them as well. And we are very practical in practicing and role-playing an interview, because that's a very nerve-wracking situation for, a grown adult to go
everybody,
through. Yeah. Let alone a teenager or 20-something. So we do some of that practicing as well, and also just what does a good work ethic mean, and looking at that, and the importance of setting career goals. My previous background prior to coming to Keiki Kokua was higher education, and specifically at the community college setting. And I worked with a lot of youth there with setting long-term, lifelong goals. So I certainly talk about education quite a bit when I meet with my foster youth as well. And okay, we'll get you into maybe a retail job now, and let's look at some other education opportunities that you have right here at UH Maui campus, and what sort of things might you be interested in this realm too?
And I know there's a lot of programs with funds available to help folks like this get some credits here and there, and when you start taking them like that and you start putting them together, if you've got a plan, you can actually accomplish something. It's not just taking a class. You're headed down the road for a certificate or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and it's just important that we identify the smaller steps as well when I'm working with foster youth, because oftentimes if we look at the prospect of becoming an engineer, well, that seems way out of what their current goals are. So what are the smaller steps? And what's great about our organization is when I meet with a foster youth for our program, if they find a job, that's not the end of our relationship. I'm always available to them when they're ready to move on to the next step as well. And oftentimes I'll send an email to some of my foster youth, how are things going at your new job? And, have you updated your resume? Have you created your LinkedIn account? So I maintain that relationship too as time goes on.
Gotcha. Now, do you have trouble finding employers for your youth?
Yeah, there's a lot of employers out there looking. You can go on Craigslist.org and find a lot of various job postings. However, I'm hoping that we have some employers listening today. I'm looking to build a list of partnerships, people who would be willing to hire some of our foster youth who've gone through MIND training, so I can assure you they're going to be excellent employees. But we're looking just for some people in the community. This is a way that you can support your community as well as open up the employment opportunity doors to some of the keiki from our island, and give them an opportunity to learn some and practice some of those job skills in your setting too. So I would love any employer who's listening today who would be interested in supporting not only Keiki Kokua, but those youth who have been through foster care or adoption or kinship to contact me. And I would definitely like to figure out how can we support one another too.
Right. I think it's important for people to understand that the kids that are in youth, that are in foster care, et cetera, are not there because of anything they did.
Right. Yeah.
This is the circumstance of life that was forced on them.
The cards that were dealt to them.
Yeah. So to think that they maybe can't do something is totally wrong. The opportunity is given to them. If they take advantage of it and work at it, it can set them on the right track for their future. It's a great opportunity. So as you work with these with the kids and getting them ready for potential employment, I kind of chuckled when you said the interview process, because that's one of the things. I'm awful at the interview process. You know, luckily I've only had to be interviewed once or twice in my life.
Wow.
But just the idea of walking into a new business, that, you know, the first rule of thumb is to learn everything you can about that business.
Yeah.
So that when you're sitting there, you can tell them why you would be a good fit.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And if you don't do that, I mean, you're started off on the wrong foot. And I'm sure that's a high priority in your training with them.
Yeah, and making sure that they understand the importance of getting to know any organization or company that they're applying to is one of the many pieces that I teach them in preparing for an interview. And something unique that I train a lot of my foster youth is you almost want to take the approach of, I'm interviewing this business to find out if I want to work here because I'm that good. It really has an effect on your confidence level when you walk into an interview. Usually if you're applying at a place, you know that you want to work there.
Yeah.
However, I really work on just building up their confidence level. You have the skills to do that. We've discussed all your strengths. You're able to do this job really well. And just reemphasize the importance of being dedicated to that position too. If you're going to be late, here's what you need to do. You have to call, and obviously avoid being late. Punctuality is important. All those little things that are so important to being a good employee.
Right. Do you do a debriefing after the interview with them to see how things went?
Yeah,
or what?
Sometimes it doesn't go well. And sometimes it goes better than they think. Oftentimes youth will walk out of an interview and think, oh, I totally bombed that one. They're never going to give me a call. And then they get the call that they have a job opportunity given to them. So, that's something that comes with practice, being able to interview well, too, and which is why we do some of that role playing together. And another thing that I will facilitate with my foster youth is them setting up an informational interview with somebody who's doing the job that they're looking to do, maybe long down the line in the future. And do an informational interview with that person, so they're in the interviewer's seat a little bit to get a feel for it and the other side of it too. That can have an effect on their confidence as well.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, you've got a big teen Christmas party coming up.
We do. This is our 7th annual Keiki Kohua Teen Christmas Party. It's coming up on December the 15th. It's in the afternoon. It's 1 to 6 p.m. It's held at the Grand Wailea. They have been a great support to our organization over the past few years, and we have a great program set up for foster youth. The ages that we're accepting is any foster youth or previous foster youth, ages 12 to 20 years old. And I use that term foster youth very loosely because this particular teen Christmas party, it's also open to any youth who have been adopted or kinship, living with your kapunas as well. We want all of these community members to come together for our organization.
What kind of a crowd would you expect for something like that?
Thousands upon thousands.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I can tell you, I'm looking forward to this event. The foster youth will have the wristbands to use the pool for the whole day. We also do a gift exchange. We're going to have a catered lunch from the Grand Wailea. And then we have Marty Dredd, reggae singer. He graduated from Maui High School here. He's going to perform. He donated his time and services too. So it's a great event to bring family and youth together. And something to remind our community too is that holidays in particular can be a very difficult time for those in foster care. And this is just a great distraction from that difficult time of being away from your family, possibly. So that's why we created this particular event, and that's why we look forward to continuing it and hopefully growing it to be able to serve larger numbers. So.
Now, this is 7th annual, you said?
Correct, yes.
So it's been growing every year, I would think.
Yeah. We have, it is capped at 50 youth that are able to come. And we would like you to RSVP as soon as possible. You can do that one of two ways. Either you can email me, which my email address is Laura, which is spelled Laura, Laura at keikikokua.org. So if you want to send me an email, or you can call our phone line, which is 573-4972.
And that, again, the teen party is on Saturday, December
15th.
15th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's afternoon?
Correct.
1 to 6.
1 to 6 p.m.
At the Grand Wailea.
Mm-hmm. Includes
Wow.
food, music, prizes,
Swimming.
activities.
Swimming and all those good things. Wow. That is really cool. So if someone wants to get involved and wants to offer their home or themselves as a potential foster family, is that something that you work with too, or does that go through the system?
That goes through the system. However, we are a great bridge to that system. Lisa Morrison, who is the executive director for Keiki Kokua, she is a foster parent, has been a foster parent for many years, and she is connected with the foster parent community as well. So if you are remotely interested in opening your home, I just really encourage you, look into this opportunity to serve the keiki on our island here. You can call our phone line, which again, that phone number is 573-4972. Our website also has a lot of great information about the programs I discussed, but also just another way for you to get connected with us. Our website is www.keikikokua.org. It's another way for you to learn how can you maybe volunteer with our programs, or some strengths and services that you want to offer us as well. We're always open to monetary offerings.
There you go. Okay. You can bring something out you bring your items out to the store to be sold in the thrift store.
Clean out that closet, bring
Make a
us some of the
donation.
good stuff. Yeah.
All kinds of ways that you can help.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fabulous. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Susan.
There are times when we're interviewing someone when you wish there was a camera in the room and you could see how they light up as they talk about their program. And Laura's one of those people. It's such a joy to talk to you because you're so enthusiastic about what you're doing, and you can tell it comes from the heart, and that's all there is to it.
Well, that's the best compliment you could give me. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much. Again, this is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our executive directors and their staff to find out how they are helping to make Maui one of the greatest places to live. We talked today about several ways that people can become involved with agencies by donating funds, time. Here's some things you could take to the thrift store out in Haiku and help them raise money. But we do encourage you to volunteer for an agency that you believe in and you believe in what they're doing. And we have about 60-some members listed on our website. Check us out at www.mauinonprofit.org, and you will find the names of all of our agencies. Click on the name of the agency, and it takes you right to their website, and so you can find out more about them. Please do get involved. It's because of volunteers like all of you that we get to do all the things we do. And again, join us next Wednesday for another episode, I call them an episode, of Maui Nonprofit Notes, and it's going to be the day before Thanksgiving. So we will promise no gobble talk. And Gary's giving me the high sign that I don't have much time, so we want to thank you. Aloha.